Hey there, it is Food Stuff Fridays with Rochelle, and I am so excited to be sharing a no oil hummus recipe with you today. So if you've ever made homemade hummus, typically you use oil in the recipe, and many of the store-bought ones have oil as well. So I typically look for an all-natural organic store-bought one if I'm not making my own. But today's recipe uses a secret sauce, and fun fact is that it is actually the juice from the can of beans that is called aquafaba, and you use this instead of the oil. You can also use this to make meringue. You can also use it as an egg replacer. So the can usually has twice to maybe almost 3 times the amount of liquid that you need for this recipe. So I typically will freeze it. I will either use like a little, this is a silicone ice cube tray, and so I will freeze the amounts and then just pop those into another container so that I can use pre-measured amounts for recipes. So that is the fun fact that I wanted to share with you. This is a wonderful secret that I learned quite a while back. The other, I guess, necessary piece here is that you want a high-speed blender to make this really creamy hummus. If you don't have a high-speed blender, then it's a food processor. You can tell I don't use mine much. So first we're going to use, this can is 398 mils. So typically I would want to use a can that's a little bit larger, so about 450. So I'm going to show you a little bit of a trick that we're going to do today. So a can, now we're going to use 1/4 cup of lemon juice, and then 1/4 cup of the aquafaba, so the bean juice. If you've made your own beans, then you want to use the water from your recipe, okay? So this is almost, I'd say it's 1/3 of a cup of tahini. So tahini, I purchased mine in a jar, and this is the one I'm using here today. It's all organic, and oh, actually this one isn't organic, but it's only sesame seeds, a little bit of salt, and water. So this is the also a really important part of the recipe, because this recipe uses more tahini than usual. And so now we are going to blend this. Now, right before I do that, because I ran out of chickpeas, I have heard that you can also substitute with black beans. And so you can make this recipe with white beans, black beans. So just for fun and to change up the color a little bit, I have topped this up with the black beans. Now I have another little pan here with some parchment paper that's covering the pan in its entirety. I apologize for the noise, but I just wanted to show you that you can use raw garlic for this, but I really like roasted garlic. So previous to making my recipe today, I used some parchment paper in my toaster oven. I put some onions, sliced onions, and sliced the tops of the garlic head, and just drizzled a little bit of oil on top of everything. And then I wrapped it in parchment because I'm not a fan of using foil paper. And so you can also use, if you don't have parchment paper, you could use 2 muffin tins. So you put your garlic inside of the tin and then cover and actually lie down the second tin on top of that. So you have like a little bit of a pocket on top of the garlic. So now what we're going to do is, as you can see, the garlic is caramelized and it's nice and golden brown inside of the actual bowl. So I'm going to throw 2 into my recipe here. I also love caramelized onion, so I'm going to put a little bit of onion in there as well. Okay, move this out of the way. What's great about roasted garlic is it doesn't keep in the fridge for a long time, but you can freeze it. So that's why I make a big batch and freeze it ahead of time. So now we are going to make our recipe, and I'm gonna make a little bit of noise here. Bear with me. So that looks good. You'll notice that I was putting a little bit of extra bean juice in the blender to make that a little bit easier to blend. So typically what I would do is just grab a small bowl, and I would put my amount that I want to serve. Again, hummus is great for freezing as well. So look at how creamy this is. It is amazingly creamy, frothy almost because of the aquafaba. And so if you haven't tried this, I'd love to hear from you if you do. And put this over here. You can chop up some roasted red tomatoes or sun-dried tomatoes and serve them on top. I also have some Thai coconut seasoning here that you can put on top. You could put some cumin, some chili peppers. I actually toasted some sesame seeds on the stove because I love the sesame seeds. So what I would do for this one is I'm just going to put the sesame seeds on top, and I would serve it like that. One cool thing about hummus, it's not just for dipping crackers. I have some homemade crackers here that I would use for dipping. You can also do dipping with vegetables, as well as I make these cool little flatbreads, and I would make a spread from this. So instead of using just a mayo or mustard, I use them for my sandwiches as well. So happy cooking. I hope that, one last thing as well is sometimes I will mix some hummus with about a little less than half of the same amount of salsa. Also, if you could share and comment as well as like on my videos, I would absolutely love that. I am trying to build this channel, and I want to share some free content about wellness with as many people as possible. So if you look down below, please subscribe, and if you look up ahead, you'll see a little bell, and if you ring my bell, you'll also be notified when I load a new video. So please help me out. I want to build this channel and get more word of wellness out there. Take care.